Have you ever noticed how some people seem to bend reality itself, achieving what most would call impossible, while others struggle just to get by? The difference rarely lies in talent, resources, or luck. It begins with a single invisible force: belief. Belief is the foundation of every great accomplishment. When you truly accept that no boundary can contain you, unseen barriers collapse. Without this unwavering conviction, even the best plans crumble under pressure. But with it, every step forward becomes charged with unstoppable momentum. Think of belief as the starting engine of destiny. Before skyscrapers were raised, before rockets left the Earth, before revolutions in science and art changed the course of history, they first lived in someone's imagination. The power to see beyond what exists is what separates dreamers who drift from visionaries who build. So, how do you nurture this inner vision? Begin by questioning every limit you've ever assumed to be true. Replace hesitation with daring imagination. Each morning, close your eyes and design your future in vivid color. Walk through the home you want to live in. Feel the energy of work that excites your soul. Experience the warmth of fulfilling relationships. Sense health and vitality surging through your body. Don't just picture it, live in it now. Here's the secret. When you make choices as if your dream has already been fulfilled, you shift from hoping to embodying. Instead of chasing, you become. The gap between today and tomorrow closes, not through force, but through alignment. Neuroscience backs this up. Your brain doesn't distinguish much between vividly imagined experiences and real ones. When you consistently rehearse success in your mind, you create neural pathways that prepare you to recognize opportunities, make bold decisions, and take inspired actions that match the life you've envisioned. Look at Walt Disney. Long before Disneyland existed, he saw a world where families could step into stories, where imagination had no walls. In an era when many thought amusement parks were cheap distractions, he imagined a kingdom of wonder. His mind lived so completely in that vision that eventually the world had no choice but to catch up. Your inner vision acts like a compass. Once you hold a clear image of what you're building, your awareness begins to filter the world differently. Connections, ideas, and resources that were once invisible suddenly come into focus. This isn't magic. It's how your brain prioritizes what matters most. But here's the question. What picture are you holding inside right now? Is it sharp and detailed, or hazy and uncertain? Is it truly your dream, or a collage of other people's expectations? And most importantly, are you treating your vision like a vague fantasy, or as a reality already unfolding? Imagine the difference between saying, "I hope this happens someday," versus declaring, "This is who I am, and this is where I'm going." One creates wishful thinking. The other reshapes reality itself. Faith is not an accident. It's a decision. Too often people wait for proof before believing. But the truth is, every breakthrough in history was born from faith before evidence appeared. You don't wait for success to prove you were worthy. You believe first, and that belief carves the path. Picture the Wright brothers, standing with fragile wooden frames in the sand. Hundreds had failed before them, and experts insisted human flight was a fantasy. But they carried within themselves an unshakable conviction. They acted, they adjusted, they persisted, until the sky opened. Their faith wasn't blind optimism. It was disciplined certainty that fueled innovation. And here's the reality. Doubt will always whisper. Fear will always knock. But belief is the voice you choose to amplify. Each morning, speak to yourself words of power. I am capable. I am growing. I am designed for greatness. These aren't empty phrases. They are declarations that rewire your identity. The more you affirm who you are becoming, the faster your actions align with that truth. Think of it like laying bricks, one thought at a time, one decision at a time, you construct a foundation of certainty. Doubt may still visit, but it doesn't get to stay. You acknowledge it, then replace it with faith, until belief becomes second nature. Consider Oprah Winfrey. She grew up facing poverty and obstacles that could have easily defined her future, yet she spoke life into her own possibilities, long before the world saw her potential. By choosing belief over doubt, she shaped a destiny that would influence millions. This is the turning point. Will you wait for conditions to be perfect, or will you decide, right now, to believe in your power even before evidence appears? Because belief doesn't just wait for doors to open. It builds the doors. It carves the keys. It transforms empty ground into solid stepping stones. Your future starts with what you choose to believe today. Doubt. It's the quiet voice that sneaks into your thoughts, whispering, "You're not ready. You're not enough. Maybe tomorrow." And yet, the truth is, tomorrow never comes for those who surrender to hesitation. Doubt is not your identity. It's simply the echo of fear disguised as caution. Everyone feels it. Even the greatest leaders and creators wrestled with uncertainty. But here's the difference. The extraordinary do not wait for doubt to disappear. They move forward despite it. They understand that courage is not the absence of fear, but action in its presence. Think about J.K. Rowling, sitting in cafes with rejection letters piling up, hearing voices that told her she'd never succeed. Yet every page she wrote was an act of defiance against doubt. The result? A story that reshaped culture and inspired generations. Doubt thrives only in silence and in action. When you move, when you speak, when you dare, it weakens. The very act of stepping forward generates evidence that your inner critic was lying all along. Every small victory proves that the limitations you once believed were never real. So how do you strip doubt of its power? First, recognize it for what it is, a primitive survival mechanism. Your brain is wired to protect you, not to help you soar. It prefers comfort over expansion, safety over greatness. But growth never lives in comfort. Growth demands movement. When doubt shows up, you can answer it with action. Nervous about a conversation? Pick up the phone. Afraid to start the project? Write the first sentence. Unsure about a decision? Take the smallest step forward. Momentum creates clarity that fear can never give you. Michael Jordan, often celebrated as the greatest basketball player in history, didn't start as a legend. In high school, he was cut from the varsity team. Instead of letting doubt end his journey, he let it fuel his practice. Every missed shot became motivation. Every setback became training. He understood that doubt is silenced not in thought, but in relentless action. The truth is, if you entertain doubt for too long, it compounds. A small hesitation today becomes a habit tomorrow. 5 years from now, you'll look back and realize opportunities slipped away, not because you weren't capable, but because you listened to the wrong voice. But here's the empowering reality. You can choose differently. You can make doubt a background noise instead of a lead actor. How? By surrounding yourself with reminders of possibility. Study stories of people who overcame the odds. Document your own wins, no matter how small. Build a board of proof, photos, notes, affirmations that remind you of your strength when fear speaks loudest. Remember Helen Keller, blind and deaf from early childhood. She could have lived a life defined by limitation. Instead, she chose bold action. With relentless learning, unshakable belief, and unwavering guidance, she became an author, speaker, and activist whose life proved that doubt has no authority unless you hand it power. You don't need to wait until you feel ready. Readiness is a myth. Transformation begins when you step forward unprepared, but determined. Each action teaches you, strengthens you, and builds the confidence you once thought you lacked. Ask yourself, if you stopped listening to doubt for just 1 week, what would you attempt? If you silence the inner critic long enough to take consistent action, what breakthroughs might unfold? The truth is, success rarely belongs to the most gifted. It belongs to those who persist, to those who continue when others pause, to those who act while others overthink. So, next time doubt whispers, don't argue with it. Don't negotiate. Instead, move. Even trembling steps forward carry more power than standing still in hesitation, because the only way to outgrow fear is to outact it. Life will test you, not once, not twice, but again and again. Challenges, delays, disappointments, and setbacks are not signs to stop. They are invitations to grow stronger. Every obstacle you meet is not meant to crush you, but to refine you into the person capable of carrying your vision. Resilience is the hidden currency of success. More than talent, more than education, more than connections, it's your ability to rise when life knocks you down that shapes your destiny. Look at Nelson Mandela. He spent 27 years in prison, facing conditions designed to break both body and spirit. Yet instead of surrendering, he used that time to sharpen his mind, strengthen his purpose, and prepare for leadership. When freedom came, he emerged not bitter, but powerful, guiding a nation toward reconciliation. That is resilience in action, transforming pain into preparation. The truth is, adversity is a forge. Just as fire strengthens steel, hardship strengthens character. Each trial you survive builds a new layer of toughness, adaptability, and wisdom. But here's the secret. You must decide to see obstacles as part of the path, not the end of it. Think of failure not as a verdict, but as feedback. Every misstep is information. Every rejection is redirection. Every closed door nudges you closer to the one that will open. This perspective doesn't make challenges easier, but it makes you unstoppable. Science even backs this up. Neuroscientists tell us that when you face difficulty and persist instead of quitting, your brain literally rewires itself. It creates stronger pathways that make you more capable of handling future challenges. In other words, resilience isn't just a mindset, it's a biological upgrade earned through struggle. Abraham Lincoln failed in business, lost elections, and faced personal tragedy again and again. Yet each setback became a lesson, each loss became training, until he finally stepped into the White House during the most turbulent moment in American history. His story proves that resilience isn't about avoiding hardship, but learning how to rise through it. So, how do you cultivate this power? Start by reframing your perspective. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this teaching me?" Shift from victim to creator, from wounded to warrior. Life doesn't get easier, you get stronger. Second, allow yourself to feel the sting of setbacks, but refuse to stay there. Disappointment is natural, frustration is real, but don't let emotions dictate your direction. Feel it, process it, then channel it into the next step forward. Third, build persistence in small ways. Finish the workout when your body says stop. Complete the project even when motivation fades. Make one more call after rejection. These little victories compound, training your mind to continue even when results aren't immediate. Persistence is what turns average people into legends. It's why history doesn't just remember those with talent. It remembers those who refuse to quit. Look at Thomas Edison. He tried thousands of times to create a working light bulb. Each failure wasn't a defeat, but a discovery of what didn't work. His resilience wasn't in his invention. It was in his refusal to surrender. And that resilience eventually illuminated the world. Here's the truth. The most dangerous moment in any pursuit isn't at the beginning, when excitement is high, or near the finish line, when success is visible. It's in the middle, the long, quiet valley where progress feels slow, doubt grows louder, and enthusiasm fades. This is where resilience proves its worth. The ones who push through that valley are the ones who reach the summit. Ask yourself right now, when obstacles appear, do you look for a way out or a way through? Do you retreat into excuses or advance with determination? Do you see setbacks as the end of your story or as the chapter that makes victory even more meaningful? Because resilience is not about never falling. It's about rising every time you do. It's not about being fearless, but about walking forward despite fear. It's about persistence, commitment, and the refusal to let temporary defeat become permanent. Every challenge you face today is preparing you for a level of success you cannot yet imagine. If you embrace it, you grow into someone stronger than you were yesterday. And that strength is the bridge to the life you dream of. Your life always follows the direction of your thoughts. Where your mind goes, your world follows. Focus on fear, and you'll find reasons to retreat. Focus on possibilities, and doors will begin to open. This isn't mystical, it's practical. Your mind operates like a filter. Out of millions of details around you at any given moment, it chooses only a small fraction to notice. What determines what gets through? Your dominant patterns of thought. If you expect obstacles, you'll see them everywhere. If you expect opportunities, you'll spot them where others see nothing at all. Consider Henry Ford. Long before his name was associated with automobiles, he imagined a future where the average person, not just the wealthy, could own a car. Experts scoffed at him. Yet Ford held his vision so firmly that he restructured manufacturing itself to make it possible. His thinking shaped his reality, and in turn reshaped the world. Your thoughts are not harmless background noise. They are builders, constantly shaping your destiny. Each repeated belief carves grooves in your mind, directing your choices, your actions, and your expectations. The person who tells themselves, "I can't," will unconsciously live in alignment with that statement. But the one who declares, "I will," sets in motion behaviors that make it true. Athletes use this principle through visualization. When a sprinter pictures crossing the finish line first, their brain activates the same pathways as physical training. Executives rehearse presentations mentally before stepping on stage, and studies show they perform with greater confidence. Why? Because the brain doesn't distinguish much between imagined experience and lived experience. Both shape your capability. So, how do you train your mind for greatness? Begin with intentional words. Each morning, speak affirmations of who you are becoming. Say, "I am growing. I create value. I handle challenges with creativity." These are not empty phrases. They are instructions you're giving your subconscious. Over time, your identity bends toward the direction of those declarations. Pair this with gratitude. Gratitude redirects your focus from what's missing to what's working. It doesn't deny difficulty, but it ensures your attention isn't dominated by lack. The more you notice what's good, the more your mind is trained to see resources instead of problems. And then, practice vivid visualization. Imagine yourself living the life you desire, not as a distant dream, but as a present reality. See the details. Feel the emotions. Hear the sounds of victory. This level of immersion trains your mind to accept that future as normal, which then influences the choices you make in the present. Serena Williams, one of the greatest athletes in history, has spoken openly about her use of visualization. Long before she held trophies, she pictured herself lifting them. Her mind rehearsed victories until her body followed. That's the power of a directed mental state. But training your mind is not only about planting seeds, it's also about pulling weeds. Guard against negativity, cynicism, and toxic voices. Be selective about the conversations you entertain, the media you consume, and the people you let influence you. A garden grows only what is planted, and if weeds dominate, even the strongest flowers struggle to bloom. Ask yourself, What stories do you rehearse daily? Do you dwell on reasons you can't succeed or on ways you can? Do you replay past mistakes or envision future triumphs? These choices are not trivial. They are shaping the trajectory of your life. The mind is a steering wheel. Aim it toward limitation, and you'll arrive at mediocrity. Aim it toward growth, and you'll arrive at greatness. Here's the empowering truth. Your future is not dictated by outside conditions nearly as much as by inner focus. Two people can live in the same circumstances. One sees walls, the other sees doorways. The difference is not the world around them, but the mindset within them. So begin today. Audit your inner dialogue. Replace self-doubt with declarations of strength. Replace fear with action. Replace complaint with gratitude. Each thought is a seed, and each seed grows into the life you live. Direct your mind deliberately and watch how reality bends to match it. You don't rise or fall alone. Your environment is always pulling you in one direction or another. The spaces you inhabit, the voices you hear, the people you spend time with, all of them shape your beliefs, your standards, and, ultimately, your future. The truth is, you absorb the energy of your surroundings, even without noticing. Your subconscious mind is like a sponge, soaking up the expectations, conversations, and attitudes around you. Spend enough time in an environment where mediocrity is normal, and excellence will start to feel unrealistic. But place yourself where ambition thrives, and suddenly greatness becomes the baseline. Think about Silicon Valley. It didn't become a hub of innovation by accident. When visionaries, dreamers, and builders gather in one place, their ideas spark off each other. Possibility multiplies. Excellence becomes contagious. The same is true for any community, any circle, any workplace. History shows this again and again. During the Renaissance in Florence, artists, scientists, and thinkers surrounded one another, elevating each other's genius. Michelangelo wasn't just Michelangelo. He was also the product of an environment where brilliance was the standard. This principle applies to you as well. Look at your inner circle. Do the people closest to you expand your vision or shrink it? Do they encourage growth or reinforce limitation? Do they speak life into your dreams, or do they quietly plant doubt? Your environment doesn't just influence what you see, it programs how you think. Neuroscientists tell us that mirror neurons in your brain cause you to unconsciously imitate the behaviors and attitudes of those around you. Whether you realize it or not, you're becoming like the people you spend the most time with. Consider Steve Jobs, who deliberately built relationships with bold thinkers, engineers, designers, and creators who challenged conventional limits. Those influences shaped his relentless pursuit of innovation. His environment wasn't random. It was intentionally designed to fuel vision. So ask yourself, are you deliberately shaping your environment or simply inheriting it by default? Too many people settle for circles of convenience, family, coworkers, old friends, without realizing that those very connections might be anchoring them to the past. It takes courage to elevate your surroundings. Sometimes it means leaving familiar groups that feel safe, but small. Sometimes it means seeking out spaces where you're the least experienced person in the room, because that's how growth accelerates. Build your circle with intention. Seek out builders, people who encourage, who think bigger, who see solutions where others see problems. Builders don't let you settle for less than your potential. They stretch you, inspire you, and remind you who you are becoming. At the same time, create distance from breakers, those who drain energy, dismiss vision, and reduce everything to limitations. This doesn't require drama or conflict. It simply means being selective with your time and attention. You owe it to your future not to let toxic voices dictate your belief system. Andrew Carnegie, one of the wealthiest industrialists of his era, famously surrounded himself with brilliant minds. He attributed much of his success not to his own brilliance, but to the collective intelligence of the people he kept close. His mastermind group, as it came to be called, was the soil from which his empire grew. Your environment works the same way. It can either elevate you to levels you never thought possible, or quietly convince you to remain ordinary. The choice is yours. So here's the challenge. Audit your environment. Look at your 5 closest relationships. Do they match the person you want to become? Examine the media you consume. Does it fill you with ideas and inspiration, or with fear and distraction? Review your physical spaces. Do they energize you or weigh you down? Sometimes the most powerful change isn't in who you are, but in where you are and who surrounds you. Remember this. You don't simply adapt to your environment. You become it. So choose boldly. Surround yourself with energy that lifts, words that empower, and people who believe in possibility. Because your environment isn't neutral. It's either building your future or quietly breaking it down. Every great transformation begins the same way, with a decision, not a half-hearted wish, not a casual intention, but a full, burning commitment that leaves no room for retreat. History remembers not the hesitant, but the decisive, those who removed the safety nets, shut the escape routes, and declared, "I will not turn back." The moment you commit fully, your energy shifts. You stop wasting focus on exit strategies and begin directing it toward solutions, breakthroughs, and forward motion. Think of Alexander the Great. When he led his armies into new territories, he often destroyed the ships behind them. Retreat was impossible. Victory became the only option. That level of commitment doesn't just inspire others. It unlocks hidden reserves of courage and creativity within yourself. Here's the truth. As long as Plan B exists, Plan A will never receive your full force. The backup option may feel safe, but it quietly steals the fire you need to succeed. So, how do you embody this principle today? Start by declaring your vision out loud. Words carry power. When you speak your commitment into the world, it gains weight. Accountability follows. Next, invest into your dream. With your time, your energy, your resources. Every investment you make is a declaration of belief. It's proof to yourself that you are all in. And finally, cut off the excuses. Eliminate the back doors. Tell yourself, this is the path. This is who I am. This is where I'm going. No matter how long it takes, I will not quit. Will challenges come? Absolutely. Will setbacks try to discourage you? Without question. But the decision to persist transforms those obstacles from roadblocks into stepping stones. Each difficulty becomes fuel for the fire of your determination. Look at Mahatma Gandhi. Against overwhelming odds, without wealth or weapons, he led a movement that changed the fate of a nation. His strength was not in perfect conditions, but in relentless commitment. He decided, and that decision reshaped history. And now it's your turn. Ask yourself, what ships do you need to burn? What excuses need to go? What would your life look like if you removed every back door and gave your dream everything you've got? Because the future does not belong to the cautious. It belongs to the bold, to the ones who believe without limits, to the ones who persist when others pause, to the ones who decide fully and never look back. So take the step. Speak the words. Make the choice. Don't wait for perfect conditions. They'll never come. Don't wait to feel ready. Readiness is built by action. The time is now. Believe bigger than your circumstances. Act with courage in the presence of doubt. Surround yourself with people who lift you higher. Train your mind to see possibility instead of limitation. And when challenges arise, rise higher still. Your destiny is not written by luck or circumstance. It is written by your decisions, your persistence, your vision, and your refusal to quit. So step forward today with conviction. Choose faith over fear. Choose action over hesitation. Choose commitment over convenience. And remember this: the future bends for those who believe boldly enough to claim it. Your time is here. Your moment is now. Your destiny is waiting.